Hey there, if you follow us here at 5Market Realty, you know my name is Scott Talley. I'm the broker here at our company. We like to do monthly market updates on the Athens area real estate market areas around Athens, like Oconee County. And we also do some fun things with clients. We do football prediction contests this time of year. So apologies for overloading your inbox like I feel like we're doing this fall. We also provide videos on new listings and really just anytime we feel like there's good information we need to share. For instance, last month, we wanted to dispel some myths in the current real estate market. But if you're interested in Athens area real estate, interested in anything around this area real estate related, be sure to click subscribe and you'll be updated when we have something worthwhile to share. But we're going to talk about interest rates and have they finally provided results in the real estate market today. And inventory is beginning to rise. We're going to show you that a little bit too. So let's go ahead and get started. Get my head out of the way here. If you follow us, you know we like to track four main things over the last 3 years to give us a sense of the market. Total new listings, average days on market, the average sold price, and of course, the number of sales. We shrink this down to just Clark and Oconee County, out of the classic MLS, not Georgia MLS, not for sale by owners. Because, for instance, on either side of Athens, Oconee, you're going to have a very different market in Winder Barrow, Jackson County versus Oglethorpe and Madison. So the truest reflection we can find of our market is these two counties combined. Let's go ahead and take a look at the numbers. So there is some good news. Now, if you look here, total new listings is still down over 2022. It's down a little over 15%. It's 1,600 new listings to 1,902. The good news is that used to be a bigger number. We were seeing 25% down, 30% down, 40% down. We're still seeing that we're tracking behind, but it's tightening the gap a little bit. Days on market is actually up about 32% at 40 days on market. So now we're not seeing things fly off in the first 24, 48 hours. That's starting to finally kind of come around and give us a little bit of normalcy. Buyers are having a little bit more time to consider things. And then look at this average sold price gain, 6.9% year over date, 452 to 421. That's a lot more with historical norms than what we were seeing previously, where I kept reporting in 2022 or 2021, 35, 38%, 25%. And then, of course, total homes sold, we're down 18% over 2022 at 1,273 and 38% behind 2021, but that was over 2,000. And we're starting to realize 2021 was an outlier market. We're going to see a little bit more around this number. I would like to see more than 1,200, but the good news is I'm going to show you right here. We're starting to see a lot of similarities in the same month between the last year. So let's look here at October, percent change in total new listings, 126 in 2022, 122 here in 2023. Barely a change below 1.5%. Days on market for the month of October, also at 40 days. So this is after the interest rates have gone up last summer. And now we're full year into this. We're over a year into it. And now we're starting to know what we can expect year to year. I do think we'll see some things change again, but then let's look at the average sold price. What did I just say about that? Still going up, but coming down relative to how much it had done. We're at just 3.5% better than last year, 416 to 431. And then if you look at 2021, we're actually a little bit behind that, just barely, because that time of the market in late 2021, we were seeing a lot more traditional high-end residential home sales than we typically see this time of year. Traditional residential market is basically February to July. So that was one of the outliers there. And then the total homes sold below 100 at 90, we can kind of expect that based on what we saw last year. It's 20% behind the year before. And of course, it's 51% behind the month of October. Remember what I just said about 2021? Outlier year. So just remember that as we start to get into some things looking a little bit more normal. Monthly inventory of homes. This is a big deal. This is something we started tracking a little over a year ago. These are the active homes for sale in the classic MLS. Not active contingent, not pending a contingency, but actually on the market and for sale. And here's the news. This is the highest total of homes for sale in the market. This was taken maybe November 3rd or 4th by me, and it was at 280 counting Clark and Oconee, residential income homes and residential homes. Now, is that really, really high amount of homes for sale? Historically, no, but it's the highest we've seen in a long, long time. Monthly total sales, we track this, as you know, Clark and Oconee County. We want to be around 200. That would be a good, healthy market in a lot of ways. But what we're seeing in January, you saw how we started this trend of coming down. Started the year very low, got up into the 150s around the peak of the residential market. We wanted to be up here, but now we're tracking back down below 100. And that should be the expectation is fewer home sales. And take a note if you're a home buyer or home seller. You're a home seller, price your house right. You're a home buyer, be aware you might have some opportunity because of the inventory might create some opportunities to negotiate. Months of inventory. This is essentially our months of inventory, our monthly absorption rate, which I've been tracking. And this is how I calculate it because I'm basing it on homes that are not under contract with a contingency, basing it on the homes that are still for sale, that could be purchased, and the total amount of home sales in a month. And what you've seen is a steady increase in this number all the way from May. We started, our low point was 1.42. Look here last year, though. So shouldn't we say what was last October like? Well, last October was 2.5. Now it's at 3.1. So last September was below where we are. So we're actually seeing that inventory and months of inventory tick up. Is that a good sign? Absolutely. Is it where we want to be? No, but it's the closest it's been in a good while, since maybe January. So 3 months of inventory, if we could get it to 4, that's a balanced market. Haven't seen that in quite a while. And then just follow these trends as we look at this part of the year. 2.4, 2.3, is that going to continue to be over 3 months? Remember, 3.1 means just over 3 months. 2.4 means just about 2.5 months. All right, let's go to something a little different that I haven't really looked at in the past. So we try to give you information basically for free to help you if you're out there, just kind of keep you informed. So what I want to talk a little bit right here is interest rates and inflation. That red line is your month-to-month interest rates. My source there is ycharts.com. And, they're going to fluctuate inside the month a little bit. But in general, you're looking at this 6.5 number on this red line, staying below 7, and then peaking above 7 in July. That blue line is the month-over-month inflation numbers that have been tracking since October. Now, as you can see right here, over 8, over 7, just over 7, inflation at 8. And then as you can start seeing in December of last year, what started happening to this blue number? And then what happens to this red line? So we now have a significant gap between the correlation of these two numbers, where the interest rates have gone and where inflation is. And right now, inflation hasn't come out for October, at least that I could find, but it's below 4. It's a little bit above 3. That's something to think about. We're trying to go to 2, but as long as energy costs are what they are, is it really practical to think that inflation can get that low unless energy comes down? My point is, have these rates done their job? Has the market been impacted? Is inflation coming down? And you can see here in our real estate numbers, we've got less buyer demand. Prices are still going up, but nowhere near the rate they were, which felt a little bit out of control at the time. So we're going to end here with some factors to understand, go through this. As I said before, we don't believe rates are going down anytime soon. There's going to be fluctuations, but there seems to be this belief that, all of a sudden there's going to be a switch, and then the rates are going to go from 7 or wherever they are today, about 6.5 down, back to below 5%. Well, people that were sitting out last spring when they could have got 6% came back around this fall and saw that they were getting 7%. We got good news recently last week, and some lenders here in town have been able to do a little bit better and get some rates back into the 6s. But the next thing is, just like I said, we cannot predict the future. And that's what people have been trying to do. You're listening to your dad, you're listening to your grandparents, you're listening to your real estate broker, your mortgage lender, your neighbor at a cocktail party, or wherever you are. And the truth is, you just can't predict it. This market is different than anything before. We're battling a lot of things. The world has stuff going on that we have no control over. If you need a house, then you need to act now. If you don't, and you're happy where you are, then you're in a good spot. Number 3, you might have heard something in the news about a verdict against the National Association of Realtors. Took place in Missouri, violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. And essentially, what they're trying to say is that there was collusion in some type of commission. And what I want to go ahead and tell you is, in the state of Georgia, we're very fortunate because we have a lot of great paperwork and things are very transparent. When you agree to list your property, it is discussed right there what the commission will be, which is always negotiable. Any commission is negotiable, and then it's negotiable on how that's going to be shared with a buyer's agent. We do a lot of different things here to where sometimes if there's not a buyer's agent, we might have a different commission structure depending on what the service is. So what you should know is there might be some changes coming in the industry about how some things happen in other states and how buyer's agents are negotiated to be compensated, but there's not going to be a total absence of buyers not having representation. It's very early in how this all shakes out. There probably will be an appeal. Stay tuned. However that goes, we're going to keep you informed. Also, if you're a buyer, think about this. If there's more properties on the market and the rates have had a little fluctuation, maybe you have an opportunity to negotiate on a home that's been on the market. If you are looking for something, instead of being discouraged by what you're hearing, recognize where opportunities might be happening. You might run into somebody that needs a lot more urgency to sell than you realize. And if you enter in a negotiation, you might walk away with a much more fair deal than you expected a year and a half ago as a buyer in the market. Lastly, I'm going to end with this. Can we learn to live with 3% inflation? Let's be honest. Inflation did come down, We know we're seeing it at the grocery store. We're feeling it in our pockets, but the way they're reporting it is coming down. And with the way these interest rates have gone, it's hard to see that, how much more can they press it and get a different result. There could, can't predict it, but 3% inflation year over year might become something we might need to take a big gulp and go, maybe that's reality for a little while. Not an economist, just stating my opinion here as we talk with clients and look at things. Now, this is our updated picture. At least I believe it is. Yes, I got it right. So there we are. That's not everybody in our group. We almost got everybody, got real close. We got some new faces in there. If you need help in real estate, info at 5M Realty, 5marketrealty.com. That's our number. These are folks that, sometimes the process starts months ahead. It's November now. You want to do something in March and April. Are you thinking about renewing a lease? It's time to talk to somebody now. Investment property, before you renew your tenants. The best buyer right now is an end user. You need to talk to us if you're thinking about selling before you renew that lease. Info at 5M Realty. Be sure to hit subscribe. We'll be getting the prediction contest out. Thank you for staying with me for 11 minutes. Georgia Ole Miss this weekend. It's going to be a big weekend. Thank you again and have a great week. Go Dogs.